the people of the Most High, Israelites.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. I wanted to get into a topic based upon the video I did the other day, all right, on Apostle Geno Jennings answering the question, is it a sin to eat pork today? I did a video on that the other day, and I've just been meditating, on some things that you can see. There's a video here, all meat is good to eat, even pork. Okay, so that would mean human meat. That would mean, a skunk, okay, a rhino, whatever you wanted to eat. Pretty much these Christian pastors teach our people, all right, that you can eat it, all right. And I started to, meditate on all of, the conditions that plague Israelites, whether it be in their neighborhoods or in their bodies, okay. It all stems from sin, which sin is the transgression of the law. You see, when you look at what's going on in our so-called communities, okay, what plagues it? Drug dealings, okay, murder, gang culture, violence, okay. The young oppress the old. They run these neighborhoods, okay. Adultery, disease, okay. Alphabet activity, dealing with the LGBTXYZ 1, 2, 3. Okay, these are the things that currently plague our people. Okay, so when we deal with the law, statutes, and commandments, those things are addressed in the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, to tell our people to stop. It gives our people a statute, a law, okay, and a standard on how to handle themselves in the earth, which is only a benefit unto them. You see, but you have these particular preachers running around teaching our people, okay, that they're free from the law, all right, which we're free from the first covenant, all right, walking under grace. We're in a grace period where we're not judged, okay, by the standard of that first covenant. All right, but as it says in the book of Romans, the 3rd chapter, okay, this is Romans 3:30, seeing it is one God who shall justify the circumcision, those who were raised in the customs by faith, and the uncircumcision, those who were not raised in the customs through faith. Okay, do we then make void the law through faith? Okay, because we are under a grace period to where what? We're justified by faith, but do we make void the law because we're not under that first covenant? Do we make void the law, which the laws are found under that first covenant through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. This is clearly the Apostle Paul letting us know that we cannot have the mindset that the law, statutes, and commandments are null and void. You see, and these preachers pretty much are perpetuating the mindset of disobedience. You see, which there's a judgment for disobedience. All right, this is the book of Micah, the 3rd chapter, in the 1st verse. It says, and I said, hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? Okay. Is it not for you to know judgment? There's judgments for particular actions, and we are to warn our people of the judgment that comes with their actions. Case in point, our people lead the league, all right, whether you deal with the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, we are more likely to have heart diseases, high blood pressure, and all of these various different conditions that stem from our diet. You see? The heathen nations can eat these foods, and they're less likely to contract these particular diseases. Which disease? Not ease, at ease. Not comfortable. Basically, your body is not at ease. That's what a disease is. Okay? And we're plagued with these particular diseases. Why? It stems from disobedience. All right? It is a result of a curse, which the curses would be for a sign and a wonder. Let's get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28. And we all suffer, right? This is Deuteronomy 28 and 46, dealing with these curses. I start at 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. So a curse came from what? Disobedience. Okay, and what we're going to get into is that the elect, the remnant, all right, are established to break the curse of disobedience and ultimately be justified by faith. Okay, contrary to this garbage that's being taught by the Christian church, to where our people, they don't have to keep no laws, and they can continue in the behavior that got them in the worst condition known to any nation on the planet Earth. Okay, verse 46 says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder upon thy seed, all right, forever. See, these curses are going to be for a sign and a wonder. So if you want to know who the Israelites are, all we have to do is look at these curses, which when you read these curses, they don't just apply to one particular captivity. These curses have followed us and throughout our generations, even up until this day. So the Lord had to raise up a remnant. You see? So let's go back to where we were. Okay, let's read this again. Micah 3:1. And I said, hear and pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil? And the law is good. The law is holy. Okay, the fact that we're not under the first covenant, we're not justified by trying to fulfill the acts of the first covenant, the technicalities of the law, does not give us as Israelites to go ahead to just live a lawless life. You see, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off of them and their flesh from off their bones. That means you put our people in a defenseless state. See, they pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones. Who eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin off of them, and they break their bones and chop them into pieces, as for the pot as the flesh within the cauldron. You basically leave our people out to dry. And this is why in the book of Ezekiel, what are our people known as? Okay? Ezekiel 37:1. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and he carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. And he caused me to pass bound by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and they were very dry. Okay? And when you continuously read this chapter, these bones represent the house of Israel without the understanding. So the black preachers and all of these preachers, so-called Hispanic, all of them, you're a part of our people being in this condition, because you are teaching the doctrine of the enemy. Which, what was the first thing the enemy did when he went and got us and put us on those slave ships? He made sure that our diet, okay, was changed. He knew who we were. He made sure to give us a diet that went contrary to who we are. And now that diet is our culture. We have taken on this diet as our culture. And you black preachers, and you preachers period, are a big part of why our people are in the condition they are health-wise and have the mindset they have against the Most High. Okay? You're a part of the reason that our people are dry bones. But see, when the Lord would send the prophets out, Okay? As a matter of fact, verse 4, and again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Now, as we're telling our people to hear the word of Yahweh, because Ezekiel is symbolic of the prophets here, and he's actually here preaching, because this is speaking of the Israelites here in Babylon the Great, as it says in Revelation, the 8th chapter, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. That's the dry bones. Okay, why are they dry bones? The man that wandered out of the way of understanding. What's that? Proverbs 29? Proverbs 21 and 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Okay? So our people are in a dead state because they have wandered out of the way of understanding. And one of the ways that they wandered out of the way of understanding is through their leaders, which flay their skin off of their bones. They take away their protection. So as we're prophesying unto these bones, telling them to hear the word of the Lord, fear the Lord, what happens? Their flesh starts to come back upon them. Verse 5, thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause the breath to enter into you, the understanding, and ye shall live. Okay? They were alive before this point, but they weren't living until they got the understanding. The Holy Spirit, or Hakwadash, which is the beginning of the victory. All right? So that we can be justified by faith under this grace period. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring flesh upon you, and will cover you with skin, and will put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. See? So I prophesied, and as the prophets went out, okay, what happened? The flesh came upon them, the skin covered them, and eventually the breath entered into them. Okay, and these bones, all right, verse 11, then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Yasharallah. Behold, they say our bones are dried, our hope is lost, and we are cut off for our parts. Okay, and why were we cut off? Because of disobedience. Okay, so going back here, Micah 3 and 1, okay, you heads of Jacob are supposed to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, and pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh from off their bones. Okay? Who also eat the flesh of my people. They get rich off of our people. It's ignorance. And they help to do the bidding of the enemy, to keep our people in a constant state of disobedience, so that Esau's justified in what he does to us. Okay? And flay their skin from off them, and break their bones, and chop them in pieces. So you preachers got a lot of blood on your hands. And chop them in pieces as for the pot and the flesh within the cauldron. All right? You basically throw our people in a pot of Esau's gumbo. The Babylonian gumbo, and our people are ultimately being used as a part of the marinade. Okay? Then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he will not hear them. And we're coming into the times where judgment is getting ready to be issued forth. Okay? But he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. Thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and he that put it not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him. Our people are at war, all right, with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and themselves through doctrines like this. Okay? Is it a sin to eat pork? All meat is good. All meat is good? Oh, really? All meat is good. Okay? And your diet, you are what you eat, right? So the answer as to why our people lead the league in sickness, murder, Okay? And all of the various negativities in the earth are tied to them and their culture is because what? They simply live a sinful lifestyle and they need order. Okay? Now, real quick, let's see here. I think I got that one already. Get this out of here. Get that one out of here. We're going to start here. 1 John 5:2. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. That is an indicator that you fear the Lord. Okay? A part of love is fear. Okay? You show your love through your actions. Okay? Now, the Christian church, as we always say, they're going to tell you that the law is love. That's all we got to do is love. Well, what is love? How can we find the standard of what love is? Again, we bring this out all the time, but this point is great. So we're going to get it again. Romans 13:8. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that love another hath fulfilled the law. For this thou shalt not commit adultery. You're not going to sleep with your friend's woman. You're not going to sleep with anybody's wife or woman, which is your wife. You with her, all right? Thou shalt not commit adultery. You're not going to rap about adultery. Some of the greatest songs in Negro in the rest of these cultures that deal with our people's entertainment are about adultery. Me and Mrs. Jones. All of the rap music today talks about taking another man's wife. Sin has become our song. Okay? So where do you find a statue that can tell our people this is wrong? In the Bible, the law. That's a part of love. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's get the word of just type in adultery. In the law, this is a law. Exodus 20:14, thou shalt not commit adultery. That's one of the 10 commandments. Now, you have niggas that teach in these churches that say we don't even have to keep the 10 commandments because we're justified through Jesus Christ. Proverbs 6:32, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. What is the penalty of adultery? Leviticus 20:10. And a man that committed adultery with another man's wife, and even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. So when you look at the results of death, all right, because the scriptures say there's power in the tongue. When you look at what's happening to our people and how they're in this perpetual state of destruction, it stems from what they're doing, which can be addressed by the law. Okay? So, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, which that word is really murder. And our people commit murder on the day. Our people murder each other's grandparents, children, over gang violence and gang culture. Okay? Our people steal. Our people bear false witness. All on the internet is just nothing but gossip. In the law, it tells you not to get into gossip. Okay? The law tells you not to get into being a busybody, bearing hatred towards your neighbor. Let's get that. To show you how the laws actually help our people. This is Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, and thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. See, the scriptures offer us conflict resolution. When you have a conflict with your brother or with your neighbor, there is a way to resolve it outside of bloodshed, shooting somebody in the damn head. All right? Creating your own vengeance. These things plague our neighborhoods. Gossip. As a matter of fact, let's read this in the NLT. Okay? Leviticus 19:17. Do not nurse hatred in your heart for any of your relatives. Confront people directly so you will not be held guilty for their sin. Okay? Don't go behind their back. Okay? Confront them openly and deal with things in manners according to the law. Okay? Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. See? Do not seek revenge. Okay? Verse 16. Do not spread slanderous gossip among your people. Do not stand idly when your neighbor's life is threatened. I am the Lord. So when you go into the law, it's dealing with how to handle civil affairs amongst you and your nation, which our people lack these things. Our people are living like wild beasts. They're slandering one another. They're gossiping about one another. It's just a never-ending, perpetual, wicked cycle. Okay, they bear grudges against one another. There's gangs that have been at war since the 70s, the 80s. There's families that have been beefing. Grandmas, children, grandfathers have been killed behind gang violence, which those things can be addressed in the law and give our people a standard, a counsel on how to handle the situation. But what do our people do with the counsel of the Lord? They set at naught the counsel of the Lord. Let's get that. Book of Proverbs. I want it in the King James. Give me 1 second. So Deuteronomy 32:28. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh boy. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Yep, Psalms 107 and 11. Because they rebelled against the words of the Lord and contemned the counsel of the Most High. Proverbs 1:25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. There's reproof and counsel on particular situations you encounter. Let's look up the word counsel. So Geno Jennings, the Lord gonna deal with you. Thyself, counsel, advice. Where do we find advice on how we should handle ourselves? From Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, in the laws. Okay, in the prophets, in the scriptures, period. Okay, the word precept. When you read the precepts, these precepts, not only the law, statutes, and commandments, but these precepts are supposed to guide your life. Let's look up the word precept. This is Nehemiah 9:14. And madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and thy commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of my servant Moses. Let's look up the word precept, because we get precepts unto this day. Ma tazawa. Ma tazawa. A commandment. So the precepts and ordinances are commandments on how we should handle ourselves in any given situation. That's how we have to walk in the Spirit. So our people don't want the advice of the Most High. So what's going to happen? Okay, you have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. Let's look up the word reproof. Wa Tanaka Tha. All right. It says rebuke, correction, punishment, chastisement, argument, reproof. Okay. Chiding, correction, rebuke. Okay. So the Lord has a controversy with our people, and he sent the prophets. Okay. to bring his counsel and his mind to them. So what's going to happen? I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And that's what's next. Okay, so going back to this point, in the book of Romans, the 13th chapter and the 8th verse, it says, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. And all niggas talk about is love. And who are they mimicking? Esau. Esau loves to bring up this term called love, but then his actions never follow. Okay? His actions are always the opposite. So you become a walking contradiction, and that lifestyle is only going to lead to you eventually being judged, because you're not walking with the fear of the Lord. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, runs rampant in our culture, so-called culture. That ain't my culture, but our people's so-called culture. See, the law, statutes, and commandments are your culture. It's how you cultivate yourself. This is what you teach your children. Okay? Not to celebrate no goddamn Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. You teach them the laws, and that makes them separate from everybody else. That's what makes you separate from everybody else. But it's all just, we're going to be justified by faith at the end of the day. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So within the commandments, we find a dietary law. That is a form of love, keeping those dietary laws. You're showing the Lord, I fear you, I love you, I respect you, I reverence you. Okay? Now, of course, we can't be over righteous with the law, but you still establish the law. We don't just make void the law through faith. Okay? Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Okay? Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. So let's look up the word ill. Kakos. Okay? Harm. Bad nature. Okay? Mode of thinking. All our people do is wake up and look for ways to talk down on their own people. That's the culture. They're not happy unless they're destroying or talking down upon or harming their own people. Wrong, wicked, troublesome, injurious, pernicious, destructive, baneful. And this is what you see in the hood. This is the behavior and the mindset that plagues the hood. So when we tell our people they got to keep the commandments, you should keep the commandments, that is good counsel. Okay? And a guy like Vocab Malone, he don't want to see our people in that spirit. That makes them scared to see us walking to the best of our ability in the law. So let's get this again. 1 John 5:2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, as his commandments are not grievous. Look up the word grievous. Okay? Our people look at order as grievous. Barus, heavy in weight, metaphorically burdensome. Our people look at the laws as a burden. All right? A burden. They look at the laws as severe, as too strict, as too much. It's cruel. It's unsparing. So what are they walking around with the mindset of? Malachi 3:14. Ye have said it is vain to serve the Lord. As a matter of fact, let's start at 13. Your words have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? Our people don't even know that they're speaking against the Lord when they have this mindset of this guy. That you can eat the things the Lord wanted to clean the earth. Now, do you open a vacuum bag and eat out what's in the vacuum bag? No. These things that are unclean are basically the vacuums of the earth. If you're eating those things, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay? And it's disobedient. The remnant are here to break the curse of disobedience. Okay? Malachi 3:14. Ye have said it is vain to serve God. What profit is it that we have kept this ordinance and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts. Our people don't want to walk mournfully. That's what repentance means. To feel, again, repente, to feel sorry. Our people don't think that there is any benefit in that spirit. See? Ye have said, what profit is it that we kept his ordinance? Look up the word ordinance. And this was the mindset of those priests back then, and that could be poured onto the leaders and the people who follow them in this time. Mashamath. Okay? Guard, charge, function, obligation, service, guard, and that's what the priests were to do with the temple. Okay? That's what Adam was to do in the garden. Okay? Our people, what? They don't want to deal with the ordinances, the laws, the statutes. They say it is vain to keep his ordinance. It's no profit. It will profit you. Okay? It's profited us. Okay? In that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts. Therefore, we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. They that tempt God are even delivered. And that's amongst our culture. These are the type of people that are ultimately uplifted. Sinners, evil, wicked people. Let's get the book of 1 Timothy. We'll go back to that. 1 and 8. As a matter of fact, I'll start at 6. Okay? It says, from which having served, 1 Timothy 1 and 6, from which having swerved, have turned aside to vain jangling, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say, nor wherefore they affirm. You have a lot of people who go into the law and they become overbearing, over righteous, and they teach the perspective that we're under the first covenant. If we are under the first covenant, what is covering us? See, Yahushua sacrificing that blood was for this moment. So that his elect, as he prayed for them in John the 17th chapter, could be covered as they're in a grace period. Grace from what? Grace from the technicalities of the first covenant. That's what this grace period was for. However, within this grace period, we don't have the right to either boast and act as if we're still under the first covenant, or to just say that the laws under that first covenant are done. That's why you have to have balance. You have people who go to the extreme that we're still under the first covenant. If we're still under the first covenant, we are dead. Okay? Based upon the Passover alone. And we committed adultery. Okay? Before we knew that, basically, we're still held we're still held to those standards. We still have to, so we have no covering if we're under the first covenant. Okay? So we're teaching the law based upon, look, that is going to show your faith and obedience to the Lord by keeping the laws to the best of your ability. Okay? It says, but we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. See, the law has a benefit. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man. Okay? You know, are people in the hoods, because I guess in the church y'all are holy and holier than thou, are our people in the hood in the current state of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American culture, is it working the works of righteousness? Okay? No. The law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless. Okay? And disobedient. For the ungodly, and for sinners, for unholy, and profane, and murderers of fathers, and murder of mothers, and manslayers. That's what niggas do. Crips do that. Crips and Bloods kill each other's fathers and mothers. Them niggas need to be taught the laws. See? Let's look up this word lawless. Our people are walking around the earth living in a lawless manner. And you're aiding them in that mindset because you love bacon. Just because it's good. Look, the Lord don't care about your feeling, your lust. There's many things that may taste good, but if it's in the ordinances not to eat them, we through faith, okay, we show our faith through obedience and saying we're not going to eat it. That's something we can control. Okay? The word lawless is animos, destitute of the Mosaic law of the Gentile. That's how we became Gentiles, through being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth and doing what? Learning the works of the heathen. Therefore, we became heathen, departing from the law, violator of the law, lawless, wicked, sinful. What is sin? Transgression of the law. So you're without the law, which leads to you doing what? Walking around the planet Earth, all right, promoting and doing sinful acts that are harmful to yourself and others. See, the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, and for the ungodly and sinners. Let's look up this word disobedient. Goodness gracious. Disobedient.
Strong's G 506, anupaktas. Anupaktas.
Anupaktas. Not made subject. You're not under subject is under the rule. You're not under the rule of your husband, which is Yahweh through Yahweh Shai. You're unsubjected. Cannot be subjected to control. You're not under the control of the Most High. You're doing whatever you want to do. You're doing what your will. You're unruly. Woo, unruly. Goodness gracious. Let's look up unruly. Unruly, disorderly, and disruptive, not amendable to discipline or control. Refractory. I don't know that word, so let's learn it together. Stubborn. Unmanageable. Okay, and what do managers do with unmanageable people? They kick them off the team or fire their asses. So you niggas are gonna be fired and kicked off the team because you're using your grace period for a cloak of maliciousness. You're using your grace period to promote, okay, your own flesh. As a matter of fact, let's get that. That ain't what I'm looking for. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Galatians, as a matter of fact. Let's go to Galatians 5. And 13. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. That's the grace. Grace and liberty are the same thing. To where you can walk freely in the Holy Spirit and be justified by your faith under grace. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. What is love? How do we find what love is? Where do we find love? Do we just make up our own version of love? Okay? I gave a homeless man $1. I'm showing love. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But we can find what love is by what? Going into the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, for all the law is fulfilled in one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You see? But if you bite and devour another, which happens amongst our people, and it happens in Israel, okay? Take heed ye be not consumed in one another. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. The lust of the flesh promotes sin. So, brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. You've been called unto grace. Only use not your grace or your liberty for an occasion to the flesh, to fulfill your lust. So let's read this again. 1 Timothy 1:9, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane and murderers of fathers and mothers and manslayers. Look up manslayers. This is what I mean. This is nigga culture.
Strong's G 409. Androphanos. Androphanos.
A murderer. Let's look up what murder is, because there's a difference between murder and kill. Murder is the unlawful premeditated killing of another human being. Niggas rap about this every day. Homicide. It's become your song. It is not conducive for a nation of people to walk around like this. Therefore, what do they need? The law. It says thou shalt not kill, but that's speaking of murder when you look up the word. Premeditated slaying of another. Now, if you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself, you can be justified. Okay? It says for whoremongers. Our people are whoremongers. Okay? For them that defile themselves with mankind. Okay? Let's read this in the NLT. For men still as niggas abduct each other's family members and have them hostage. Okay, let's read this in the NLT. Oh, man. Sheesh. So you pastors got a lot of blood on your hand for teaching our people they don't have to worry about the law. Because that's a horrible mindset. This is in the NLT. The law is for people who are sexually immoral, who practice homosexuality with the hoe in the front, right? Who are slave traders. Bro, you have particular women of our nation who are used by the enemy to go out and recruit and lure people in to be traded off and trafficked. Men and women. Liars, promise breakers. Okay? Or do anything else that contradicts the wholesome teaching. And our people are at the forefront of all of the alphabet marches, all of the marches to go out and, you know, to do a 187, which that's the new name for the ABORTION. Call it 187 because you can't talk about these things now because this current world is evil. So the law, our people do all of these things. So what do they need? The law is good for their ass. Romans 12. Romans 12 and 7, or 7 and 12. Salakia. Romans 7 and 12. Wherefore the law is holy and the commandment holy and just and good. Man. See if we can get any precepts off of this and we'll move on with the lesson. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are under the law, but not under grace. Uh-oh. You got some people saying we're still under the first covenant. Well, if that's the case, we're out of there. No, we're under grace, brother. But anyway. And that's what our people are. They're backbiters, Romans 1 and 30. Haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventor of evil things, TikTok, social media. They just use it to do what? Forward more evil and confusion. Disobedient to parents. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only that do the same, that have pleasure in them that do them. So this is a cycle of death. Titus 1 and 16. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and to every good work reprobate. And Yahushua himself said, think not that I am come to destroy the law. I am come to fulfill. He came to do the law perfectly. He came to fulfill what was written in the law and the prophets that were written of him to do. That didn't mean that he made void the law. Romans, this is Isaiah 1 and 9. This is in the book of Romans as well. It's quoted in the book of Romans. Except Yahweh have left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been like unto Sodom, and we would have been like unto Gomorrah. Because of what? Disobedience. If the Lord did not put that remnant in the place, we would be out of there. If the Lord didn't put Noah, you know, if the Lord didn't establish Abraham, if the Lord didn't establish the remnant elect, we would be through. Because the remnant are set up to do what? Break the curse of disobedience. Which disobedience has what? Has a penalty. This is 2 Corinthians 10 and 6. And having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. See, all disobedience will be rewarded with revenge when the obedience of the elect is fulfilled. What? During this grace period. See, Ephesians 2 and 2, wherein in times past ye walked to the course of this world according to the prince of the power of the air. See, the gospel was hidden because the God of this world had our minds blinded, which this is what is being taught in the church. The God of this world, his rules, what their God say, not what the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob say. And that breakdown was pathetic. This was pathetic, man. And the Lord is going to deal with you, Geno Jennings, and the rest of y'all. Okay? Because the scriptures say if the ruler hearken to lies, all of his servants are wicked. So this is the congregation of the dead right here. This nigga went on a 41-minute rant telling you that it's okay to eat anything you want. All meat is cleansed. Okay? Iguana. Okay? Spider. Shit, let's just get a spider hoagie. And you're justified. You niggas are sick. Sick in the head, man. Okay? Ephesians 2 and 2. Wherein in times past ye walked according to the course of this world. That's why we were Gentiles. According to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. These are the children of disobedience. Okay? And what is disobedience?
Strong's G 3876. Paraka'e. Paraka'e.
There you go. Inattention. You don't give any attention to the laws. Disobedient. A hearing amiss. Let's go to the root word.
Strong's G 3878. Parakuo. Parakuo.
To hear aside, casually or careless, amiss, to be unwilling to hear, on hearing, to neglect, to pay no heed to refuse to hear, to pay no disregard to disobey. See? And see, the remnant are set up to break that curse. And this is why they're mad. Let's get the book of Revelation 14 and 12 as the new song is being sung. What does it say? Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Okay? Let's get Revelation 12 in 17. And the dragon, the revival of Rome, Babylon the Great, NATO, and the EU, was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So the remnant are going to be doing something that makes them to shine, all right, as lights. As a matter of fact, let's get that precept. Let's see here. One second here. This is Philippians 2 and 15, that ye may be blameless and harmless. Now we got to go up, see what it says. Do all things without murmuring and disputings. And our people murmur against the Lord. Order makes them mad. It's a burden unto them to not be that the fact that the Lord requires you to do something. That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. See? Crooked and perverse nation is our people, among whom we shine as lights. See? There you go. And what will make us shine as lights? Our faith and the fact that we will be living a holy lifestyle to the best of our ability in Babylon the Great and the various different captivities where we are scattered. That's why we are now being called the sons of God. Let's get that in the book of Hosea. Hosea 1 and 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. All right, we were no people. There shall it be said to them, ye are the sons of the living God. See? And why are we sons? What are sons? Obedient. Okay? Disobedient sons in the law were cast out, stoned. We are being called the sons of God again through obedience. Okay? So let's go back here. Isaiah 1 and 9, except Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, have left us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we would have been like unto Gomorrah. Okay? And that's quoted in Romans, Lamentations 3 and 22. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. That's what this grace period was for, man. Okay? And then it's various scriptures going into the remnant. Okay? Ezekiel 6 and 8, and I will leave a remnant that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations when ye be scattered throughout the countries. Okay? Ezekiel 14 and 22, yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings, and ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it. So we're being comforted, what? Through the Holy Spirit. Okay? Joel 2 and 3, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be a deliverance, as the Lord hath said, in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. All right, and according to Deuteronomy 30, man, then it goes into the 2/3. But Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, in the first verse, and it shall come to pass when all these things that are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations, because we will be scattered among the nations, whither the Lord thy God have driven thee, and thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command me this day, that thy and thy children with all thine heart and soul, Okay, so in the latter days, let's read this again. And shall return after we've received the blessing under Solomon, and we've went through all of the curses. Okay, we went through those curses, boy. So in the latter days, we're going to return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart, that then the Lord God will turn thy captivity and have compassion on thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. And that's going to be through Yahweh Shai. See, people think reading these prophecies is somehow making void of the Messiah when he is the one that's going to fulfill these things. See? And if thou be driven out into the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And if he will fetch thee, and the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt inherit it and possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. That's the promise that was given unto Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. See? But through obedience in the last days is how we will be returned into that land. Let's get Isaiah 10 and 20. A remnant shall return. And it shall come to pass, Isaiah 10 and 20, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Okay? But shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. Let's look up this word stay. So the remnant are going to depart from this bastard. The word stay is Cheyenne, okay? To lean on, to trust in, to support. And when you lean on Esau, he sets you up for the okie doke. He promotes you to sin. When Jake lean on him, okay, basically he determines their culture. He determines how they move. He determines what you get angry at. He determines what you eat. He determines what's entertainment to you. He gives you Tyler Perry and all of these various different things that what? They're all predicated upon sin. You lean upon him and trust him as if he's God. You fear him as if he's God. And that mindset is perpetuated, okay, through who? These preachers. Okay? Through preachers, man. And this nigga got our debates going into this. Apostle Geno Jennings versus Muslim brother. Should pork be eaten? And look at all of these people he's teaching this. I have to check this out. All right.
Question from
Let's see here. So we're going to go back to Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. All right. But shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant, all right, of Jacob unto the mighty God. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. This is what's getting ready to happen. The remnant are going to be obedient. Let's get the book of Isaiah 1. Isaiah, the first chapter. And the 27th verse. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. Okay? And the destruction of the transgressors and the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. And our people have totally forsaken the Lord. So Zion, Israel, is going to be redeemed with righteousness. How are they going to be justified? Romans 3:24, being justified freely by his grace. Because with that grace period, the elect, all right, would offer up the correct sacrifice. So the elect are set ultimately for the purpose of breaking the curse of disobedience amongst our people, man. See? And that's through Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, man. Ephesians 1:7, and we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sin. See, the blood covers us through this whole process so that we can be justified by faith and not have to deal with the technicalities of that first covenant. Okay? Point blank, period. Woo! Titus 2:14, who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people zealous of good works. See, we are zealous of good works. We delight in the law after the inward man. All right. But we understand that we're in a position to where we can't fulfill that first covenant. We needed this grace period. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Let's get a few more and we'll close it out. Isaiah 55:3, incline your ear and come unto me. Hear and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Okay? Woo! Behold, all right, and why was David justified? His inward man, who he was, his intent. Okay? The Lord had mercy on him. Behold, I am giving him for a witness to the people, and a leader and a commander of the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew thee not shall run unto thee, because Yahweh, thy God, all right, and we were a no people, okay? And for the Holy One of Israel, for he have glorified thee. We were a no people because of our sins, but we received the mercies of David to where, look, we can get a covering from those sins. That's why it says in Psalms 32, blessed, let's get it. Psalms 32, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. That's David. Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord does not impute iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. So you're justified by the inward man. All right. Though your outward man has perished and you have sins that are worthy of death. That's the mercies of David, man. Verse 6, Isaiah 55:6, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return. The remnant would do what? Return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways. So let's get the book of 2nd Esdras 9. Okay. And 7. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. Okay, so there's going to be things you do by faith, and that's going to justify you in this grace period. But you get the spirit to do those things come from Yahweh through Yahweh Shah in the form of the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which have now abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. See? For such in their life have received benefits and have not known me. They got jobs, they got careers, they're able to travel, and they said, to hell with the Lord. All right, the serpent, I'm following the serpent. Look what I can do under the serpent. Okay? They use these social media platforms to forward crab, shrimp, lobster, pig, everything. This is my current situation. Okay? Then you look in the comments, ooh, I need that. Right? And they that have loathed my law. Let's look up the word loathed. See? They loathed my law. To feel intense dislike or disgust, abhor, despise, abominate, dislike greatly, have a strong aversion. That's our people's mind towards the Lord's laws. They really get mad. But let some weirdo or some Jake in the world or some Edomite come with a diet after your foot then fell off, or after you get all sick. They come, well, here's a diet you should follow, and you should stay away from pork. The niggas will follow it. See? It says, and they that have loathed my law, while yet they had liberty, which is grace, and as when as a place of repentance was open unto them, understood it not, but despised it. See, grace is open unto all of us. All of us are under grace. See, but the remnant would do the things necessary so that we would not be destroyed and that we would have what? A restoration. See, that's why when we read earlier in Isaiah, Isaiah 1? Except the Lord has left us a very small remnant, we should have been like Sodom, and we would have been like unto Gomorrah, meaning we would have been utterly destroyed. So Tawada, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai for the remnant. You see? Because, I mean, goodness gracious. And they were talking about in this chapter how our people ran animal sacrifice into the ground. That system is done. For anyone who thinks we're under the first covenant, you have no idea what the Bible is about. You don't get it. Okay? Furthermore, why ain't you offering up sacrifices? Where's your peace offering? Where's your high priest? Huh? Where's Aaron and his sons? Why ain't you going to Jerusalem 3 times a year? That was the qualification under that first covenant. So how can we be justified by that? No, we're justified by faith in this grace period, man. And these Christians are teaching our people that with their grace period, they can loathe the law. So what's going to happen unto them? They're going to dwell in torments. Okay? See? But when a place of liberty, grace was open unto them, and yet a place of repentance was open unto them, they understood it not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Okay? So the elect remnant are set, all right, so through this grace period, okay, we could offer up a correct sacrifice, and that sacrifice will be accepted, and we as a nation will be brought back to the land and 2/3 destroyed, and we'll be able to start over in all righteousness and sincerity and truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. So I just wanted to get into that. The things that plague our nation, all right, can be addressed by simply keeping the commandments to the best of your ability. All right? That will put out a lot of evil that's going on day in and day out amongst our people. And the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, is going to destroy you. Apostle Geno Jennings and the rest of you false pastors who have misguided our people. You see? As it says in Malachi, the 3rd chapter, who teach that it is vain to serve the Lord God. Okay? As a matter of fact, we'll end it off in this chapter. Malachi 3:14, ye have said it is vain to serve the Lord, and what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? Why should I suffer? Why should I not have my lust fulfilled? And now we call the proud happy, and they that work wickedness are set up. Lil Wayne, Magic Johnson, all of these evil boule niggas are set up and looked at as some great TD Jakes. All of these niggas, they're set up. And they that tempt the Lord are even delivered. Y'all love these people. Beyonce, Jay-Z, right? Puff Daddy. They real ones. Little Boosie. Now they're characters. They're Israelites. They're funny. They may make you laugh, but their vibration and what they push is sick. Remember, he put up the middle finger to the Lord? Little Boosie, right? He put up the middle finger to the Lord. Right? Because he wants to eat pork. But niggas laugh at that. Yes, that nigga Little Wayne. Kirk Franklin. Brittany Griner. We can go on and on and on, man. 50 Cent. NBA Youngboy. See? Now we call the crowd the proud happy. Read this in NLT. From now on, we will call the arrogant blessed, for those who do evil get rich, and those who dare God to punish them suffer no harm. Because the Lord has allowed this cycle to up until now, and now judgment's going out. Verse 16, then they that feared the Lord, the remnant, spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened, because we would offer up a right sacrifice, and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them. And then they that feared the Lord, that thought, for them that feared the Lord and thought upon his name. That's the elect. And then shall they be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Why? Because these would be obedient. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth not. And that's happening now. We see you hoes. We see you harlots. Okay? And that's speaking of the men and women. All of you are in the spirit of a harlot. Okay? And you're being called out. So hopefully that was edifying. On to the next. Shalom.